Victor Timely is finally here. After being teased in the post-credit scenes in Quantumania, we knew it was only a matter of time before we'd see this eccentric scientist variant of He Who Remains, aka King the Conqueror. And before we jump into the breakdown, if you had missed minutes simping for He Who Remains on your bingo card, kudos to you, check that off. Episode 3 kicks off with a fantastic cheery Old West piano version of the Marvel Studios theme, as Renslayer time jumps to 1868 Chicago on Sacred Timeline, a task handed down by none other than Miss Minutes herself. Her mission? Deliver the TVA handbook to a young Victor Timely. But why? Well, it turns out that this is all part of He Who Remains' grand plan, a plan that will set in motion the events leading to Timely's transformation into the next Kang or He Who Remains. It's not straight up confirmed, but it looks like this was his failsafe plan in case the LOKI duo indeed ends up killing him, since that was past the point of time he could see. Back at the TVA, Obi, now obviously established as the brain of the team, points out a concerning development. Due to Dox's ruthless pruning, the loom seems to have stabilized, but the calm is deceptive. Those pruned branches are making a comeback, and Loom still isn't in position to remain stable when branches get out of control again. Yep. This place is still about to blow. B-15, Casey, and the rest of our gang are adamant about finding Miss Minutes. She is with Renslayer, so if they find Renslayer, they find our mischievous orange clock. Meanwhile, Mobius and Loki embark on their own time-traveling escapade, tracing Renslayer's path to 1868 and 1893. What they discover is perplexing. Renslayer's presence in 1868 raises more questions than answers. It's not like her to accidentally travel to a wrong year. But since they can't seem to find anything of importance in this year, they hop to 1893. In 1893, Mobius and Loki unexpectedly find themselves at the Chicago's World Fair. It's a fair that really took place in Chicago that year to mark the 400th anniversary of Christopher Columbus' arrival in 1492. They embark on a hands-on investigation and uncover the show run by none other than Victor Timely, a Kang variant. Before they attend the show, they notice statues of Thor, Odin, and Balder the Brave. Loki isn't represented, which pisses him off a bit, and he then says Thor isn't that tall and no one has ever heard of Balder, which could be a direct joke to MCU dropping Balder from the scripts of what is it now, 5 movies at this point? Don't forget that he was supposed to be a part of Illuminati in Multiverse of Madness, rumored to be played by Daniel Craig. They see a sign mentioning Victor Timely and his temporal marvels, so they head to that tent, and this is where things get interesting. Miss Minutes and Renslayer are also present. As Mobius and Loki witness Timely for the first time, Loki gets scared shitless, leaving Mobius confused, as Victor Timely doesn't really strike him as a destroyer of universes. Timely puts on an unusual demonstration of the time loom, which is still in its prototype stage. As soon as the presentation is over, chaos erupts as Renslayer, potential buyers, and the TVA duo converge on him. We also get to see Robber Baron, who's one of the Fantastic Four's villains in the Marvel Comics. The revelation that Timely is a con artist sends everyone into a frenzied chase. The pursuit to capture Victor Timely takes an unexpected turn when Sylvie arrives on the scene. Armed with He Who Remains Tempad, she's on a mission to eliminate every Kang variant. Sylvie firmly believes that Timely is on the path to becoming the next He Who Remains. She thinks that the TVA has put Timely on his path to get their leader back. However, she's unaware of the true culprits behind this scheme. It's not TVA, but Renslayer and Miss Minutes who are operating under He Who Remains' death wish. Loki shifts his focus to preserving Timely's life and saving the TVA by bringing him there and getting OB to utilize his temporal aura to repair the temporal loom. Sylvie, however, has other plans and attacks Timely, inadvertently giving him an opportunity to escape with Renslayer and Miss Minutes. Our gatekeeping, gaslighting girl boss duo provide Timely with all of the pertinent details regarding the developments surrounding He Who Remains, the TVA, and other critical information. Renslayer explains to Timely that he needs to come with her to stabilize the loom and save the TVA. Timely asks why they aren't working with Loki since both sides want the same thing. Renslayer answers that she still doesn't believe Loki with his wildcard history. Timely places his trust in Renslayer, and together they skillfully evade pursuit and board a ferry. Victor tells them his home and lab are in Wisconsin, which is a nod to the comics where Kang traveled back to 1902 to found the town of Timely in Wisconsin. Also, the ship they travel on is the SS Heron, a nod to Kate Herron, the director of season 1. This episode is full of Easter eggs. As it appears that Timely and Renslayer's bond is strengthening, Miss Minutes has a jealousy outburst, realizing she's seriously being clock blocked. She finally takes the matter into her clock hands and persuades Timely that Renslayer just wants to use him, which leads to them leaving her in a rowboat, adrift and unable to catch up with the departing ferry. Miss Minutes had been dropping subtle hints of affection for He Who Remains throughout the episode, but now she finally takes the bold step and confesses her love for him, even though she's merely an AI entity. Her crazy goes through the roof and she demands Victor build her a real body. Unsurprisingly, Timely freaks the fuck out and puts her in a horny jail. With Timely obtaining mysterious devices that are possibly the key to fixing the temporal loom, room, Renslayer and then Loki and Mobius make a dramatic entrance. They try to persuade Renslayer to relinquish the crude time stick and allow them to take Timely back to the TVA to prevent the temporal loom's destruction. But things quickly spiral out of control as Sylvie makes a dramatic entrance and heads straight for Timely. In a pivotal moment, Timely convinces Sylvie that he isn't the genocidal Kang she's encountered before. His speech about being an individual who has free will and doesn't believe in predetermined future hits Sylvie a little bit too close to home. Sylvie relents and Loki and Mobius waste no time taking Timely to the TVA. On the other side of the action, Sylvie pushes Miss Minutes and Renslayer into the crumbling citadel at the end of time. As they arrive at the palace, the sight is gruesome, with a rotting corpse of He Who Remains at its center. Just as the episode is about to end, Miss Minutes teases Renslayer with a story that promises to infuriate her. What kind of tea is she going to spill? If I had to guess, it's obviously going to be about Ravonna's romantic involvement with He Who Remains. But hear me out, what if we find out that Ravonna's actually a Kang variant and we had two Kang variants falling in love, mirroring the Loki-Sylvie dynamic? Let me know what you guys think. And there you have it. With no post-credits scene, episode 3 ends and we're halfway through this season. We also made recap videos for episode 1 and 2, plus a full season 1 recap if you're looking to catch up or go a little deeper. We've linked those on the screen right now, so click whichever one makes the most sense, and I'll see you over there.